Welcome back to the Girls Gone Wise podcast. All the things you wish we knew years ago.
I'm Rogine.
And I'm Jill. And today we're going to talk about the games women play and men fall for, pretty power, dark games. Our intention behind today is to really illuminate this and bring it to light so that good men can stop falling for these games and manipulation and stop wasting your time and taking your power back. And making yourself available for actual love, true love that's going to honor and respect you. And for any woman that's playing these, we're not judging as it's typically from a wound or trauma, but just so you can, have them illuminated for yourself as well, because they're not bringing in true love.
Mm-hmm. I think addressing these issues, both for men and women, is going to stop this vicious cycle of people abusing one another in relationships and then taking it to the next relationship and have it become this vicious cycle of now everyone who's hurt is going to go around and hurt other people. Because I've seen that a lot in real life where someone that I've known for a very long time, and I remember them as being like this amazing people who were honest, good intention and everything, they get inside a relationship and that relationship hurts and changes them a lot. And then they take that to the next relationship with them and then go hurt other people. So I've actually, I don't know if you've heard that phrase, they say hurt people, hurt people. So I've actually seen that in real life. And I think both men and women do that. But today we're gonna maybe focus on how women do it to men, because it's just come up. A lot of people have talked to us about it, and I think it's a very interesting talk.
Yeah. And I think both are hurting. Like, I know there's a lot of really good men that are hurting and they're like, do I entertain this? And I'm like, no, you don't. You walk away.
It's harder for men to say no, because I feel like women are encouraged to like speak up nowadays sometimes because of the history of women being abused more than men. Now we've actually, like, there's no taboo around it. Women like come out and talk about it a lot, but I think men are sometimes, it's a stigma in society still for a man to talk about his emotions and how he's being victimized. So a lot of men actually don't compartmentalize it or seek help. They like, it becomes part of the identity and they deny it or suppress it, and then it shows up in like different forms, and they end up like, it changes their behavior and self-worth, and then take it to the next relationship. So the more you accept abusive or negative treatment, the more respect you're going to lose for yourself. And I see that happening to men more often nowadays because of the history of like them being the more dominant gender. And now I just feel like there's no space for them to talk about that, because when they do, they said, oh, well, you've been abusing women for like centuries and centuries, so like you don't have a right to talk about it. But I feel like they still do, because nowadays it happens to both genders, sometimes somewhat equally, but men don't have the outlet to talk about it more often and seek help.
100%. And I think it got flipped. It was like women started speaking, the power dynamic got flipped, but it needs to actually be equal.
It didn't change, it just
both powerful, but in equal power, but different, because men do have different strengths than women, and we have to acknowledge that and honor that, and no sex is
better or worse.
Exactly. And I agree. I think it's rooted with getting hurt in relationship, because hurt people, in my experience, hurt people. When I'm hurt, I hurt other people. When I'm not, I'm the best version of myself. So I think it comes from, past experiences. And I loved what you said about when we don't, when we allow ourselves to be disrespected or gaslit, it really affects our self-confidence. I also think it affects our health or vitality. A lot of energy, a lot of health issues are actually rooted in abuse. Like, there's data on this. Dr. Gabor Mate talks a lot about it.
And something that I think is also noteworthy is I've noticed in both dynamics, men abusing or taking advantage of women and vice versa. I think a lot of there has been a lot of reactive components to it. For example, a lot of times after like the women's movement, like the feminist movement, I think instead of healing that relationship between the genders, it was more about like taking revenge or hating, like hating men became like a trend, almost nothing to be ashamed of. You could publicly say, oh, I hate all men, instead of addressing it as like, oh, this trauma that has to be healed. And when the reverse happened with men nowadays, there's this new movement of men going their own way, like women don't even deserve my time. Like
wait,
there are
can you elaborate on this?
Oh, you didn't know about this?
No.
So there are some groups or it's like a new trend where men say we go our own way, so they don't actually want girlfriends or wives. They just want to like live in the woods, or like sometimes not even, but they actually say that we never want to have a relation. Like women, like there are no good women out there anymore. And then there's also passport bros, the guys who actually go to different countries because
I've heard.
So it's almost like the same thing as when women said, oh, no to all men, hate all men. Like it's the same concept of like, instead of healing that relationship or like addressing the problem, you just avoid it and you say no to the opposite gender because you don't want to put the effort into actually fixing the problem. It comes from like hopelessness or insecurity of, or thinking that there's no way that you can actually address the issue. So you just run away from it. So for women, it's like, oh, you know what? All men are a-holes, you know? So I'm just gonna hate all men. Like I'm gonna tell my daughter to never get married, blah, blah, blah. And for men is like, oh, there are no good women out there, so I'm just gonna be a passport bro. I'm just gonna go live in the woods by myself and never get in a committed relationship. But it's the same problem. Like you're not solving the problem, you're just running away from it.
Exactly. And if backing up what we talked about last episode, if we have that paradigm of reality, if we look through that lens that all men are evil or suck or not good,
you can't find the good ones,
then we're literally going to block, we're going to prove that paradigm correctly. And I even know from my own experience, I had a view a while ago that men were dangerous. Like it was a subconscious belief. And when I shifted that, I'm like, no, they're not. There's actually like men that really protect and provide, and they were all around me. I just couldn't see it. Right. And it's not like even a lot of the men changed. Like, sure, some of them did, but I was like, wow, like my brothers and my dad are very protective. Like, why couldn't I acknowledge that because of my beliefs? So I think it's such a fine line, because at the end of the day, I believe humans innately are good people. And I think that these traumas and these paradigms and, you know, feminism and men suck and I don't need a man, it's like, well, actually, to take on the next generation, we do to have babies.
We
like
both need.
just and women, so women need men and men also need women, and like, or we're literally biologically we will go extinct if we just look at a nature point of view. And there are strengths that men have that women don't, and women have that men don't. And it's like, can we come into right relationship and actually, like you said, just look at the core? So we're not eliminating these tactics so to shame anybody. We're bringing them into light because playing out these tactics are actually keeping so many people in a reality and relationship with the opposite sex that they don't actually even want. It's distorted. It's not healthy. And when we illuminate them, we start to look at them, we bring light to them, and only from that place can they be shifted on an individual level and ultimately a collective level. So this is not about shaming, but we are gonna, bring these to light. So sexual manipulation is one of them. So using sex and affection for attention or leverage. Men, if there is a woman that you are dating and she is openly sharing her sexual energy, flirting with other men in your presence, like, this is a red flag. Like, I've had so many men ask me about this. This is a definite red flag. Why is she sharing it with other men? It's to get attention.
What's the intention?
What is the intention? It's to get attention, validation, maybe have backup options. Like, this is it. And again, we're not shaming it, and it's not about not having male friends. It's it's how is she interacting with them? You know, is it,
or sometimes make you feel jealous, so you actually like do something for her so she can have like power over you. So
yes,
she would like subconsciously or consciously, but definitely without words being exchanged, she would stop that behavior when you do something for her. Like she would, for example, the attention seeking. Imagine if she's doing that, but then she says, oh, well, buy this for me, or do that to something that you're not comfortable doing, or you don't have the means to do. But that's the only time that her behavior shifts to not going out and seeking all that attention. Then you subconsciously think, oh, I have to deplete all my resources, because that's the only way that she will act right. Like she will otherwise go out and seek like the wrong attention. It's almost like that scientific like the positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement of like guinea pigs in a lab, where like they would give them cocaine, and then every time they did like press on a pedal, they would give them cocaine. So the next thing you know, they're constantly pressing on the pedal. So like the same thing, I feel like a lot of women do it to men, and they're like, oh, every time you buy me this, then I'm gonna act right. I'm gonna be like all like it's completely like
manipulative, and it's extractive, and it is not, you can't have a healthy relationship with that energy.
It's transactional.
Yeah. So,
and some women are proud of it. I've seen it on social media, and it actually makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Where like, oh, he bought me this like $10,000 purse because I told him if he doesn't, then I'm gonna go and like do something like I don't know, like the only way you can get me off my OnlyFans account or something like that is if he does this and this and that. I'm like, in my head, if someone does that, they have no integrity, and you just have to like cease and desist. You know what I mean? 100%. Like stop that relationship, because that intention is not there.
And if you are dating someone on OnlyFans, who's gonna even say I'll stop it? Like really look at that. That's on a different podcast. Both men were like, that's the biggest red flag. And I agree, because if a woman is willing to sell her body online for attention or money, like what do you think she's going to do in a relationship? That until she actually does the inner work and shifts and looks at why she's doing this in her shadow, she's not going to shift. She's going to bring that energy. So like, I just like really encourage you to look at this, and then what's the allure to that, because it's not healthy love. It's not, again, we're not judging here. But
no, we're not judging. Like that's a profession out there, but I just feel like that profession, certain aspects of it, is in conflict with like a traditional relationship.
100%.
Like if somebody wants to go do that, like all the power to them. Like I'm not gonna stop them, but I'm just saying, as a man who's looking for like a traditional relationship, a woman who has that profession out there is probably not going to be in alignment. Not that that woman is bad inherently as a person, but you're not, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't date an OnlyFans girl and then want her all to yourself. It just like doesn't add up. Not that there's anything wrong with both of the scenarios, just like I don't, for example, I'm not super traditional, but I don't judge women who stay at home and cook and clean. For the same reason, I'm not an OnlyFans girl. I don't judge it, but I feel like these worlds don't align. So like, it's really important to have like a clear intention and like know exactly what you're looking for and not seek it where it doesn't exist.
Exactly. 100%. Well said. Okay, so another one is the validation drip. So this is breadcrumbing. So it's giving just enough approval or affection to keep him hooked, but not actually, again, it's a manipulation tactic. It's keeping him hooked as like a backup option or one of the options, but the intention behind it is not actually to step into something serious. And so many men get hooked into this.
We're millennials, so we used to call it friend zone.
Friend zoning.
Friend zone a guy. Friend zone was when you weren't like sure. You were like, oh well, he's okay to have around, but he's not the one. But he can still pick me up and take me to like I don't know, like guitar lessons, and like come and help me with my homework or help me with my essay. Give me the attention. Actually, at the end of it is all about the attention. So honestly, I think friend zone and breadcrumbing for women is the equivalent of booty calling for men, because
Yes.
I think it's the right analogy, because in the former scenario, women are getting attention but not giving anything to the guy. And I feel like with men and booty calls, it's like you're getting the sexual attention and affection, but you're not giving commitment.
Yes.
So it's the same thing, just a different way, different for each, for the opposite gender. So, and it brings me back to what we talked about earlier, actually off screen, about how women control the gate to sex and affection, and men control the gate to relationship and commitment.
Yes.
So I think a lot of heartbreak happens on both sides for both men and women when this is not balanced, when this form, like these two sides are imbalanced. 100%. So as a woman, if you're giving too much of yourself in terms of attention, affection, and sexual energy, and you're not receiving any commitment or any kind of provision, then it's the booty call situation where like a lot of women are complaining about. But the same thing is the friend zone situation for men is I'm giving all the provision, attention and commitment and time, but I'm not, sorry, I'm not receiving any kind of feminine affection or attention and or in sexual commitment or energy. So when it tilts, then somebody gets hurt. But I think it goes both ways, and it always has to be balanced. So for both genders, I feel like you need to really see how the other person is treating you, and don't fall into traps. And I think manipulation happens when one party finds ways to not provide their version of it. Like if you're a man, you find a way to not commit, hide her from the public's eye, and just have a side relationship, but at the same time get everything that a woman provides. And I've seen that, and I've heard about it. I've literally known women who like cook food for the guy, take it to their workplace, and he doesn't even introduce her to like his parents, don't go anywhere with her, but at the end of the night at 10 o'clock he's like, babe, do you want to come over? But somehow they create this reality where she doesn't notice it. She's just giving, and she has anxiety because deep inside she knows that she's the one providing that female attention and what women provide in a relationship, but she's not receiving.
It's unbalanced.
And I think it happens to men a lot, but society sometimes doesn't have as much compassion for men, so it's not addressed. So it kind of gets like, I feel like a lot of resentment in men nowadays because the society doesn't address the fact that some of them, they're getting booty called, but like the male version of it is like, oh, the girl has an OnlyFans account, flirts with every single guy, sometimes they're friends, and she's never available. She never gives them any kind of love, both physically or emotionally, but at the same time she wants them to pay for everything, take her out all the time. Foodie call is a trend. I just learned about it. I literally just learned about it last month. Foodie call is when women call men they friend zoned or have on their roster, and they just want to go on a nice date. So they just call the guy, and like he takes them out and pays for the food. Like a $500 dinner.
I have a friend who did this actually.
Women booty call. But you see how it's not a gender problem, it's just an intention problem. Like men can get hurt as much as women. And women, like because if it's the wrong person, it doesn't matter. Like you can't say, oh, all men are bad or all women. No, it's just the wrong kind of man and wrong kind of woman can be as destructive for the opposite, for the other person in the relationship.
And it's like, I think our soul always knows, like you said, deep down, and that's what caused a lot of anxiety. And then it's a lot of women think something's wrong with them. Let me just work on myself. And it's like, babe, no.
Sometimes gaslighting also happens in those relationships. Even when the woman or the man realizes, oh my God, this doesn't feel right, and they have the right intention, so they communicate that, they get like gaslighting.
The what if there's like this hope, maybe they will change, but the reality, the fantasy
initially had,
the reality is they are not going to change unless something deep inside them changes. Like they have to have something really deep, like all of a sudden they really want a family, but what are the odds of that?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've already created the dynamic, how dynamics start are typically how they last, unless it's a long-term marriage that both people are evolving and they grow together. Because, you know, when you're with somebody for 50 years, for example, you're going to go through stages of life. You're going to have children, like growing together. It's very different, but the intention was the same versus somebody who just wants to, I see this a lot with women. It's like, oh, he just wants to hook up, but like, maybe he'll change for me. Like very unlikely. Not that you're not amazing, but that the intention is different. And unfortunately, there's also a lot of men that will kind of speak, oh yeah, like, what's it called? Future faking.
Oh, I didn't know about it, but it makes sense. Like I've never heard of it, but I know what you're talking about.
They like fake a future so that they can get what they want from you, usually sexually, but their intention's not that ever.
And future faking. I've never heard of it that way. I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know there's a term for it.
It's a tactic. It's a narcissistic tactic.
The way you notice that for both men and women is taking the emotions out of it.
Yes.
And just looking at the facts. The facts,
yes.
Like the physical facts. Like if this girl is only calling you and is super nice to you, but only calling you when she wants to go shopping, then you can't really listen to the words because you're basically getting emotionally manipulated.
Yes.
The facts are you are going with your credit card and buying things for her that she doesn't want to pay for. Those are the facts.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what she says. And for women too, future faking. Future faking. So if he's talking about future, he's talking about the future, but there's no action. There's no like, oh, come meet my friends. Come meet my family. Let's, make sure we have a date in public. Then in public, then it doesn't matter that what they're saying. So I think the whole point of for both men and women, in order to not like in the beginning, I think that you should practice like looking at the facts, like the physical facts, not even logical facts, like not verbal facts. Like he told me that he loves me, but like what did he do or what did she do? So
I could speak to this.
When I lost, like for example, as a man, when I lost my job, did she actually leave me or she stood by me? Those are physical facts, not like, oh baby, I will do anything for you, I will forever love you. But then the moment you lost your job, next thing you know, she's not available, she's breadcrumbing you, she sometimes responds, sometimes like just keeping you like on the side. Then doesn't matter because the actions show that she was friend zoning you or foodie calling you or thinking of you as her personal wallet.
100%. I used to think that, it was a lot about the heart connection. I think that's true, but like protect your heart before you have the facts. Like don't just open your heart or don't just open your body to somebody without actually seeing who they are. Because once you do, that's when it's people can only manipulate you if they have access. So if they have access to your body or your heart or your energy, like it's a lot easier to manipulate. But if you're looking at the facts, if you're on a date and sitting back and kind of just seeing how things slowly play out, there's another term called love bombing where it's like happens so fast, so quick. It's like, no, like take your time.
That actually happened to me when I was like super young. When they're like, are you talking about when they like tell you exactly what you want to hear and call you all the time, text you on the time all the time, and then you get attached and then they like pull the rug like from underneath your feet. Oh my god, that happened to me. And it happened to me when I was like super young and super innocent and like very like gullible. So I actually thought I did something wrong. And sometimes they use that. So you're like, oh my God, why are things shifting? Like, what did I do wrong that I don't deserve this attention anymore?
Yeah.
And if you approach it that way, then they have full control over you because you basically telling them, oh, I've done something wrong. So what should I do? What do you want me to do? So we go back to that.
Exactly. And it's not about that. I feel like it's happened to so many people. It's happened to me for sure. It was
that's common. I feel like that happens to everybody.
They're trying to essentially artificially create this like intimacy and passion because they're doing it with speed instead of actual like growth. And it can be blindsiding because you can't actually look at the facts then because you're in, it's almost like it's almost
fantasy.
like a fantasy that you're in. Instead of like, oh, they showed up this way. Oh, I was super sick. And, you know, they were like, didn't show up with medicine or food and just like completely ghosted, or, you know, they're inconsistent. Like you can't actually look at things factually because you're so, in fantasy in your mind, and you're getting emotionally manipulated. So,
Ooh, and I think that's the lowest form of relationship, when you try to like receive and not give. I think the moderate, like regular, like normal kind of relationship is the next phase, where you're kind of cautious. You try to match what you give with what you receive. Like, as for example, as a woman, you're like, well, I'm not gonna sleep with him until we establish that this is like an official formal relationship where there are no other side girls in the background. Like I already know what kind of family he comes from, who his friends are, all of that. But the next level, which is like, I think, a divine relationship, which is something that I'm in right now, and I totally, fully, 100% feel it in my bones, is where there's so much trust that you just give and he just gives. And you don't even count it. You don't keep score. Yeah, you don't keep scores. Like, I'll just do my best and you do your best. But that, unfortunately, has to be built over time, because in the beginning, if you go into something with that intention and you meet someone who's not elevated and on that level, then you can end up like falling onto the first phase. So it's good to have like the middle one is better and healthier until you fully establish and fully get to know the other person, and then aim for that divine relationship. But in the beginning, if you go in without knowing the person properly and just having the best intention in your heart, that's why good men and good women usually get hurt most, because they aim for that divine relationship with someone they don't know, and instead of ending up here or there, they end up at the bottom, where they're either foodie calls or booty calls.
And that's exactly what we're diving into in part 2. How do you avoid becoming a foodie call, a booty call, or someone's convenient option? Ew. How do you hold standards without becoming guarded? Because having a good heart is beautiful, but without discernment, a good heart can become an easy target. We'll see you in part 2 on Girls Gone Wise. Part 2, the fall of feminism. We'll see you there.